Hi, everyone, and welcome to Chair Yoga. Today, I want to talk about the sense of grounding. That's a term that I use quite often in my teaching, and I have been exposed to that idea of grounding throughout my yoga practice. And it's not all that common. I'm just kind of guessing that it may not be all that common in its usage. And so, why not just take a little peek at that and what does that actually mean to us as we start our yoga practice, because that's certainly a way that I like to start everybody off, is having feet to the ground and finding a sense of grounding. So let's look at grounding in three different ways. There's probably lots of ways we could look at it, but just for the sake of discussion today, let's look at grounding in three different ways. And that would be grounding in the body, grounding in the mind, and grounding in the soul. And so grounding in the body, that's easy to access. I imagine that we come into the body and feel our way into the chair. Let's just think about how we're sitting in the chair and our pelvis, we're balancing it left to right and feeling our body weight in the chair itself and feeling your feet to the floor. So you're bringing yourself into the body and then finding stability and support with the surface beneath you, the ground beneath you. So there's that aspect that is pretty easily accessed. And it's really important. Almost every movement, or let's say every pose we do, it's important that we find our sense of grounding. Where is our source of support here? This leg, that leg, my knee, my shoulder. What is my source of support in this movement that I'm approaching? So grounding is woven into everything that we do in a yoga practice in terms of the physicality. And then if we look at the mind, how is the mind affected by that idea of grounding? Well, I think of my mind goes off to the races, where it just spins out. I start worrying about stuff. I start making stuff up, telling a story, judging, just making assumptions. Those are the kinds of things that cause me, unease. That I feel uncomfortable because my mind has gone off the races. So what's needed is a sense of grounding. Calm myself down, calm my mind down, steady the mind. So maybe the steadiness factor again shows up also as we think about how the mind needs to find grounding. So that's another way. And then when it comes to the spirit, I think it's a combination of mind and body. And that combination translates into ease. And that's our spiritual ground. And we're going to today maybe just turn the dial on our meditation at the end of class to think about it in terms of self soothing. That when we come into our meditation, we're soothing ourselves by using our breath practice, feeling the ground beneath our feet or the surface beneath us that's supporting us, and letting that soothe us as a way of, again, just kind of exploring this idea of our mind body ground comes in the way of ease in both uh, comes in the way of self soothing for the spirit, for the soul. So I got a beautiful reading from our my favorite well worn out, oh my gosh, book, Go In and In with Dana Falls. That's what I read from so often. A beautiful one today at the end of class. So we'll have that to look forward to. So I'll meet you in the chair. I want you to use your block between your thighs, come forward on the chair so you're not using the backrest, and we'll get started. So let's begin palms down on your lap. Feel your palms kind of pressing into your legs, and then in turn, it just kind of presses your feet into the floor a little bit more so you feel your connection to the space you're occupying. And then deepen the breath. So we start to feel our body move as we breathe, just looking for the access points. We're all pretty well practiced here. So what is your access to that breath awareness? Go to that. Let's close the eyes if you haven't done that yet. And let your arms just kind of squeeze in towards your waist, kind of squeeze in toward the side body. Sit up tall. And remember that just bringing your awareness to your breath will deepen it. So you don't even have to try to make that happen. And then invite that notion that by deepening the breath through your awareness, you are expanding your lung capacity. So you're strengthening your respiratory system. That's a good thing. So, this time of the year, we're more susceptible to upper respiratory problems, bugs. So let's just mindfully, and whenever we think about it, when we take our deeper breath, just bring in that intention of supporting your respiratory system, building greater lung capacity, good self-care. Pull in the belly so you stabilized your low back. And feel your sit bones into that chair seat. You can feel the bony prominence of your pelvis now into the chair seat, and feel the balance right to left, left to right, and even that front to back balance. That's referenced by the pubic bone in the front and the tailbone in the back. Just as a way of kind of maybe rocking your pelvis forward and back, and you can feel how, oh, I see what she's talking about. With that pelvic rock, there's the movement toward the pubic bone and pulling back into the sit bone. So find a sweet spot in the center of all of that, so you feel really balanced and supported as you sit. Then let's flip our hands so the palms are facing up. And we use this gesture once again as a gesture of receptivity, open to receive. What are you open to receive? That's a good way to approach our intention setting. What am I open to receive today? And if nothing comes to mind, if there's really can't really land on anything, just be open to receive whatever, your soul needs today. It's all for your highest good. Can we trust that? All for our highest good. Start to notice the breath coming in and out so that you can start to participate in that breath, breathing all the way in and breathing all the way out. You hear that from me throughout class, don't you? All the way in and all the way out with your breath. That's my job as your teacher, is to kind of keep you on task, to keep that breath awareness, because it changes everything. When you're using your breath like that, expanding your breath like that, participating in your breath like that, there's some wonderful things that happen in the body and the mind when you do that. So we've set our intention. We'll just say, and so it is. Let's flutter the eyes open now. And as we take our inhale, we're going to raise those arms up, bring the palms together up overhead. See if you can straighten your arms with no bend in the elbow. Now push your feet to the floor. So you feel a full body stretch. You feel the engagement of your legs all the way up through the body, all the way to the palms coming together over your head. Take a big breath with me. And when we exhale, we're dropping our arms into bent elbows, which is our goddess pose. So I want to move from that. Inhale, palms together overhead. Exhale into the bent elbows, and you'll feel your shoulder blades relax a little bit. Keep your legs engaged. Press your feet to the floor. And remember, you're following the rhythm of your breath. So please don't be staring at the screen so that you can keep up with the rhythm I've shown up. I just want you to keep yourself focused on your chair, your body, your experience, and particularly your rhythm of breath. We're looking for strength. So we're pressing our feet to the floor so we can feel our body start to engage in ways that we just know is strength building. Exhale now with those bent elbows. Now we're going to open and close. So I want you to bring your arms back. Your upper arms are pulling back. That's our open space. And as we close, we're going to bring our arms together and see if you can add a little roundness of the back. I'll give a little side view in case you're curious. So I'm rounding the back as I bring elbows together. That closed movement on the exhale will bring us into that cat curl. open and close. And those translate in the vinyasa to open is inhale and exhale is closing. And we're disciplined enough in our practice, our breath awareness, that we can match that up. We're not going to say, oh, well, it doesn't matter. I mean, that's true for beginners. That is true for beginners. So if you're a beginner watching this on YouTube and you're not matching up your breath properly, I'm going to say I give you a pass on that because you're beginning. But those of you who are well practiced, you can match up that breath, that vinyasa exactly right. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Let's hold it there, rounding through the back body. And with the rounded back body, can you bring your elbows all the way down to your navel? And then when you lift up, you start to feel a little more expansive. Let's find some flow here. Just bringing those elbows down toward the navel. There's a roundness of the back, and then we lift up. Squeeze the block so your legs are very stable. Find your breath. Just find how it's supporting this. Lift and hold. So elbows are as high up as you can, and maybe you feel your head tilting back a little bit. Let's spread the arms away from each other. Just reach up. Now we're in a seated back bend. Put your mitten hands on. Get your fingers to come together and stick your thumbs out like you've got a mitten on. And lift up your hands and pull them back a little bit. You're going to pay attention to how this feels in your neck because we've got to manage the weight of our head here. Chest, chest, chest. That's what I say. Be sure you're lifting through the chest and your head just comes along for the ride. You're super strong in how you're lifting up your trunk of the body, how the torso is lifting up through the rib cage. Beautiful. Then we'll come palms together overhead. Head is neutral now. Exhale as you bring your hands to your heart. Inhale up and exhale. We're going to come all the way down. And now we're going to stabilize the move. There's going to be no movement really in the spine. We're moving through the shoulders. I've got my mitten hands on. I just want you to be purposeful about how you're holding your hands. It's just a way to bring more mindfulness to your practice. So the inhale is the lift up and exhale is dropping down. I like to think of inhale ascending in the body and exhale descending through the body. Can you find that? Can you find that rhythm? Inhale, ascend that breath up, up. Exhale, descend down through that central channel. Nice, strong movement here. No bend in the elbow if we can help it. Next time you lift up, palms will come together, up and overhead. Inhale with me. Look up if your neck is okay with that. Exhale, bow into your heart. Let's pause there. This is the prayer position. This is considered the namaste position, in case I never mentioned that or haven't for a long time. This is what this posture is. Bowing into your heart is considered the namaste position. So just center yourself here for a moment. How can you feel a sense of grounding in your mind? You can just stay calm, stay focused on the movement, stay focused on the breath. Let yourself relax into it in terms of your mind. And just single focus, is really helpful. So if we're trying to think of 16 different things at once, that's just a recipe for chaos in the mind. So if we're bringing ourselves to this full awareness of just what we're doing right now here, this breath, these palms touching in front of our heart, that's a grounding for your mind. Inhale back up. Exhale, take that big sweeping action all the way around. Let's do 2 more of those. That feels good. Inhaling up, way back, and big strong movements all the way down. Inhale up and exhale all the way down. Let's get the block under the chair now so we can move our legs a little bit. I want you to just start lifting your knees. Now, I've tried to introduce recently a way of building more core strength. It's really helpful to hold on to the chair when we begin. We're going to steady ourselves, get those legs up. But a way to start fostering a little more core strength, that's the strength of the core of the body or the trunk of the body, you could release your hands from the use of the chair And then instead, you're relying on the core strength to keep you steady. Now, beginners might be needing to, or a particular time in your life where you haven't practiced for a while, hold on to the chair. It's no problem. It's just give you ideas in ways you can strengthen and encourage more challenge in your yoga practice. We're going to bring our hands into fists, just a soft fist, and then I want you to just see if you can incorporate bringing elbow to knee. So that takes a little bit of a twist at the waistline. Try to keep your legs moving right in front of you, so we're not going to go any wider than the chair's frame. So use the chair's frame to guide you in terms of keeping your body movements right inside that framework. Now your breath is just catching up with it. This is not one that we're trying to inhale and exhale at a particular time. This is not a vinyasa practice right now. Your breath is just supporting you as you do this. Now see if you can just add another one. So you're going to get a double pump. Try to lift your knee a little bit higher. That's going to really tone that low abdominal wall. And let your breath will just get heartier, might be noisier. That's all good. That's how you're just aware of that. You're using that breath. Last time on each side. That was very good. We did lots. There's a lot of repetition there. And then open and close. So let's just open that way up and close it around the back body. Take a big open, inhale, exhale, close. Let your chin drop towards your chest. Open and close. Let's take a big open. Now, when you close it, I want you to interlace your hands, stretch your palms out. So you've kind of wrapped it around, palms out. Now round through the back body. Pull those interlaced hands out in front of you and then all the way up to overhead. Let's try that again. We're going to come back to open and close. Interlace the hands, stretch the palms out, those interlaced fingers reaching way out in front of you. Don't lose your sit. You're feeling how your pelvis is still landed on the chair and all the way up and around. One more time. Open, close, interlace those hands, palms face forward, always stretch way out there, and up. And all the way around. Let's do some shoulder rolls now, maybe to reset the body. Stay with one direction. Stay with the one direction of the movement. And remember, one way to modify a shoulder roll, which you're thinking, how would you ever need to modify a shoulder roll? Well, just the heaviness of your arms. So if you have your hands on your lap, it's a little easier. And if you're looking for more challenge, you might have your arms alongside you. So the arms feel a little heavier. So moving the shoulders takes a little more work. So just your choice. Now, instead of both shoulders at the same time, I want you to just alternate. So you've got, this takes more coordinated effort. And now with this movement, I want you to literally turn. You're letting that shoulder roll turn your head and your neck starts to give it a little stretch. So try to incorporate a real turn of the body with those shoulder rolls. And if you find your legs are wandering around and you're not feeling stable or grounded in that way, you could put your block back in there. Squeeze that block in between your thighs and that might stabilize that for you. Now, by the same idea, when we start reversing that shoulder roll to come forward, I also want us to find our body twisting in that way. And maybe adding that sweep of the arm forward, like a swimming stroke. So see if you can find that turning your head. I want you to feel this in your neck and how your whole body benefits from this simple little shoulder roll. Deepen the breath now. Just feel your way into this, turning your head as your body just is guiding you to do. Remember, that is how your body communicates. The sensation you're experiencing, that's the language of the body. The feeling or felt sensation of your body, that is the way that communication works. Let's come back to center and do some shrugs and release. Shrug those shoulders and release, and shrug and release. Good. Let's try a wider stance now. So open up your feet wider than the legs of your chair. Hands are going to be on the thighs, and I want you to circle around in that. So this keeping your head steady, moving with the spine. So don't take the head and neck out of alignment with the spine. Be mindful of that. Head, neck, and spine stay in alignment as you circle around doing this Sufi roll, Sufi grind. Come way back, side to side. You're just trying to make a big circle. Now notice which direction you are doing, because we're going to want to find the other direction. So just take note that you're circling what? Clockwise? Whatever. You're noticing how you're circling. Let's meet in the middle. I'll give a side view. You don't have to change a thing. We're here. We're working the perineum now, as you might have guessed. We're bringing ourselves to a half lift. So feel that diagonal line of your spine, back of the head, neck spine feels diagonal in its position. Press your hands into your thighs. Now, imagine you're floating your pelvis up off that chair and you hold it. You exhale, you'll just soften. Inhale, lift that pelvic floor up off the chair. Exhale, you'll soften or settle. Now find your own rhythm. You don't need me to coach you through this. This is lifting and toning that pelvic floor, very important in our body to keep that toned. And this is great access. This is a great access to that part of the body. Remember, retention is a way to really deepen this for yourself. So if you're well practiced at this, you're going to lift and hold and hold. You can breathe in and out while you're lifting and holding that. So that's a technique that you might employ if you're familiar with this and feel comfortable doing it like that. Now let's all lift and hold, and I want you to pull the belly button in so you feel tremendous engagement through that belly wall. And then see if you can float your hands away from your thighs and start to move. Just take it step by step, really engaging that belly wall. Belly button's pulled in. You're letting the perineum lift up and be held there, kind of by the strength of your legs. And then see where you can go with your arms. Maybe just off your thighs is good enough, and that's where you're going to hold it, because that's great. Or you're just going to see, where could I go with this extension of the arms where I'm completely relying on the strength of my legs. Beautiful job. Let's come up now. Let's come upright. Everybody gets their arms up in the air. And now you've noticed the difference. We went back to upright, vertical with our spine instead of that half lift or that diagonal line. And like, wow, this is easy access, isn't it? Palms come together up and overhead. Let's take a breath there. Exhale, bow into your heart. Inhale, back up. And exhale, go all the way around. Grab hold of the underside of your thigh. So we're going to get a hold now and lift up, lift up, lift up. Moving our way to letting not just the feet come off the floor, but way up so that our shins are sort of parallel to the floor here. And keep your spine long. Find a focal point straight ahead. Now, as I often do, I turn to the side so that you're kind of really getting a three-dimensional picture of what's happening here, but you don't need to move at all. Lifting up, lifting up. Next time your right leg is up in the air, let's hold it there, right leg up in the air. Pull that thigh in, and let's let both hands do it. Get both arms and hands to pull that leg way in towards you. Now, while it's up in the air, let's spin the foot around. Try to get your foot as high as you can so your shin is really parallel, and there's no angle there. You're just doing your best to really get that shin straightened out in a horizontal position now. Keep changing the direction of the circle of your foot and try to spread your toes a little bit too. We're going to straighten that leg, straighten it out, no bend in the knee. Hold your leg in any way you need to, under the thigh, using your calf. Maybe you have the capability to reach to your finger, reach to your toes, however you want to hold that straight leg, let's work on it. Lifting it up, really stretching. So you're flexing your foot, your toes are drawing towards your shin, really flexing the foot and feeling your way into that big stretch. Again, we're going to hug that knee into the chest and bring our foot back to the center. Now let's get the other side going. So we're going to lift up, kind of practice again, get it warmed up, lifting that shin up. And then both hands are going to get a hold of that underside of your thigh, and you're really flexing the foot. And at the same time, pulling your leg in towards your body. And then we work to straighten it out. Very flexed foot. You can use both hands, parts of your arms, whatever you need to straighten out that leg and find support. Now, you want to try to keep your spine long. So don't cave in your upper body for the sake of getting this leg straightened out. We want to keep the strength of our upper body, long spine, and straighten out that leg. I know what I forgot to do on this side, so I'll add it. I forgot to spin the foot around. So when we rebend, let's rebend the knee now. And while it's up here, we got to spin that foot around. We'd be all kinds of unbalanced, wouldn't we, if we forgot that? And then both feet to the floor. Let's take that Sufi grind the other direction. Remember? Go the other way now with your circle. Hands are on your thighs, a sense of grounding in the body. We press our hands into the thighs. We can keep our bearings. We can really feel ourselves here, supported, stabilized. All characteristics of grounding in the body. Let's give it one more try. I think that this was a pretty good one. Pressing your hands into your thighs, bringing your back body into that diagonal line. We're lifting through the perineum. We're going to lift and retain that perineum. So it feels like you're kind of floating yourself off the chair seat. And then get the feet really pressed in so your legs are super engaged. And then we float those hands away from the thighs. And we're going to, again, check it out, see what we could do. Remember to manage the weight of your head. Not a big deal right here, but just be aware that as you do this, you want to make sure everything's good. Press those feet to the floor. Find a full breath now. Find a full breath cycle. Palms come together as we lift up into a vertical position. Exhale, bow to the heart. Inhale up. Exhale all the way around. When you come down, I want you to bring legs together like a mermaid leg. Let's try that again. Open up where we were, hold on to the chair, and pop them back into that mermaid leg position. Let's do that one more time. Open and close. Is that familiar? Inhale up. Let's do a simple twist, just a simple twist towards your right. Turn towards your right. Slip the right hand behind you, maybe to hold on to a part of the chair, maybe to press the back of your hand into your back body. Now work toward balancing in the pelvis. Before you get too carried away into the twisting action, let's balance the pelvis right to left. So our spine is vertical. That's a really good setup for a twist because we've got the mechanics right on. We got all those components to support a vertical spine. Now breathe your way to this. The twist is a work in progress, isn't it? It's always happening. There's rarely a time when we just land in it. We're in it. That's it. That's our twist. That's rarely, the idea here or the objective. Let's find our way into it. Keep looking for more space, breathing our way into this revolved position around our spinal column. And deepen the breath because that gives you more insight, more felt experience. And just take note of how you set this up. What are your hands doing? How are you supporting it? Where's your stabilization? That's all tools of grounding that your body just automatically sought. It sought that out. We're going to unwind the head first, then the shoulders and the arms. Then I want you to open into that wider stance and bring your feet back together. Open into the wider stance. Sometimes when we did it before, we were holding onto the chair, so you might go to that. Open, and close. Inhale up, and we're twisting the other way. Balancing your pelvis, and then start creating your twist. That back arm is finding a way to secure your twist a little bit, give you some leverage perhaps. But see if we can, find this balance between ease and effort, that we don't feel like we're bullying ourselves or forcing something that the body is not ready for. We're instead just setting up a good support system for the movement our body is willing and able to do. Remember how much the breath informs us now. As you deepen your breath, you start to feel it differently in your body. You start to feel how your body is responding to this twist. So deepen the breath as a way of informing you. And then work yourself, kind of listen to that and govern yourself accordingly. Where could you turn? Where do you need to soften and release? We're going to unwind the head first, and then the shoulders and arms. And we're going to maybe just reset the body. So anything your body seems to be craving, let's do that now. All right, let's get to some standing poses. So I want you to just rock back and forth, that where you get yourself up off the chair. So rock back and forth. And when you're ready, we'll stand up. So take your time. I kind of think that's a fun thing to do, so I could rock and roll a lot. And I want you to use the side of your chair to begin our standing poses. So I'm kind of putting myself, I've got the back of the chair nearby, and see if you can find that as well. So you feel supported by it, but you've got kind of a nice working area around you, some space for your legs to move. So let's find our mountain pose to begin with. Get your feet hips distance apart. Let's soften the knees. Let's start from the bottom and work our way up, so we feel the grounding of our feet and toes. We soften the knees like we do, so we don't lock that. And then drop your tailbone like it's another rooting part. Your feet create a root, and then the tailbone is a root. Pull the belly in. Shoulders are back and down. So you can feel the length of your spine beautifully. Feel super strong and perfectly aligned. That right alignment starts to show up, doesn't it? It's like, oh yeah, this is good. This is good. Now close your eyes. It's like a little break in the action. When you close your eyes and just feel your body as you breathe, it's just like you're touching base, coming into this private and intimate time of connecting with yourself. This is very compassionate. I'm with you. Maybe you even bring your hand to your heart to say, we're doing this together, kind of thing. So it's just compassionate. And I don't mean to make light of that at all. I think it's very important for us to self-soothe in that way. Make sure you feel your breath, fill yourself with that complete breath cycle. You feel the fullness of the breath. That's it. And we'll flutter the eyes open and take just a second to get used to that light again. And we're going to make a fist. We're going to make a fist. So right side is what I'm working with. So you can, whatever side is your comfortable way to do it right now. But I've got right side, so just match up, because the right arm and right leg, you're going to match up in movement. So I want you to lift up your knee and bring that to that elbow. So we're just going to do some pumping like that. And I want you to really feel the flexion of your bicep. So squeeze that fist, make it a strong arm coming up and down, so you can feel that contraction and release of the bicep. And when you're lifting your foot up, flex that foot. Toes pop up. A couple more. So we got the hang of that. Now let's add one more step. Touch that elbow, and then the foot stretches back as your arm reaches up. So it stretches back and kind of crosses over behind you. So bent knee comes back to that elbow, and stretch back with that back leg. I've got my hand on the chair. Why not? So find the steadiness of that. There might be a time when you say, I could bring my hand to the waist and do it. And that way I'm really working on my core strength and my balance. But the chair is right there. So you can use it whenever you need to. Stretch back, elbow to knee, back. Now let's hold it with that foot back there. Can you land your full foot back there? So you got your heel down, both feet are flat to the ground. Now, instead of a fist, just soften your hand, reach it up, and we're going to take the other hand and grab the wrist. So we're reaching up, your left hand now, no more touching the chair. Instead, you're grabbing hold of your wrist and you're going to pull that arm over. Now, if this is not steady for you, then skip the holding of the wrist part and just reach your arm overhead and hold on to the chair instead. Find your breath, because your breath is going to inform you of what you need here. Where's the steadiness that you need? Let your breath help you. Beautiful. Let's come down step by step. Bring yourself back. Now, when you bring your leg back to its original place, I want you to shake that out a little bit. Now, this isn't for everybody, but if you have access to this, I want you to do a quad stretch. So if you can bend your knee and grab hold of your foot and then pull your foot away from your back body, keep your knee drawing toward the midline. Don't let it sail out. Draw it in toward the midline. Now, if you don't have access to this, you know what I want you to do instead? I want you to just stretch your legs. You just find a stretch that works for you. Any movement that's going to stay focused on this same leg, you stretch it the way you can, whatever you can access, if this quad stretch is not available to you. Deepen the breath now. Feel your way through the breath so you can be very informed by how this is really felt in your body. When you change the position of your foot, you're going to change the stretch. So if you flex your foot or point the toe, notice that. You could change this posture, kind of invite more sensation by changing how you're holding your foot. Excellent. Now let's shake that out. I'm going to move. I bet you don't have to, but I just want you to see. Not sure I'm going to need that anymore. When you're all caught up with the breath, we're going to start with our strong arm and we're bending the knee. So we want to get a flex, an extension of that bicep. And you kind of get the hang of that. Start to balance your way into that by getting one foot off the floor. Now we can start taking that step. Push it way back behind, reach the arm up, back to the bent knee and elbow, step back. And then maybe you can let go of the chair. For sure find a focal point with your gaze. Don't be looking at the screen. You want to find a focal point. So when you're coming in and out of that, you've got a nice steadiness that the drishti offers. How about that? The drishti is a grounding tool. Last time, elbow to knee. About lost my way there. I did lose my way. Then we're going to ground that back foot. So that foot is crisscrossed behind you, flat footed though. Drop your heel back there. Now reach that arm up, soften the hand now, no more fist. Grab hold of your wrist and pull that arm over the head now for a nice twist. Turn your head the way it feels comfortable to do, because that could vary. How? Just pay attention to how your neck is doing here and how could you turn your head. Remember, you could always continue to have one hand on the chair. That's no problem. Deepen your breath. Feel the steadiness of your feet to the earth now. Ground yourself in that stable environment there. Feet to the earth, pushing down. Beautiful. Let's come back out. Sweep those arms. Get a hold of the chair. Let's get both feet to the floor. Shake the legs out. Again, for those of you who can give a quad stretch, we're going to grab hold of our foot. Keep your knee drawing toward the midline. Pull your foot away from the back body and do that quad stretch. Or just find another way to continue to stretch on this left side, on your on the leg you've got that we've been working on. So we're going to stretch it out some way. Just find a good stretch. Beautiful. Let's get both feet to the floor and shake that out. Move your chair in such a way that you're going to be able to walk back from it. You know, the typical way we're going to do our L shape, our extended forward fold. Hands are on the back of the chair, arms slide straight past your ears. Try to straighten out your legs. Press not only your heels to the floor, but also the toes and the balls of your feet. And really just keep working on straightening out the knees, just doing your best to straighten through that. Deepen the breath. Relying, just remember, you can rely entirely that your body is being held by your length, by your legs, the strength of your body, the lower body. Your arms are extended, but that chair is not holding you up. Your arms are not holding you up. Your legs are. Let's move into warrior one. So as we come up from that forward fold, take a right foot forward, bend into that knee. Keep the back foot flat. See if you can do this without lifting the back heel. And rising up so your spine is vertical again. Hip headlights are shining toward the chair. Now bring palms together in the namaste position. Your hands are at the heart. Steady. Stay steady and drop into the breath. Inhale up. Exhale, bow. Inhale back up. And exhale wide all the way around. Interlace your hands behind your back. So weave your fingers together. Pull those knuckles back and away from the back body. Keep your spine long. Your head is neutral. Pull back and feel that stretch through the front of your chest, the pec muscles. And you can change it by where you move your hands, down or up or back. So you can play with that. Feel the stretch your body needs. Beautiful. Now, let's get our hands back to the chair and let's see if we can pop both heels up. So you've got both heels up into the Barbie feet, you know, those Barbie feet. That's kind of what we're creating. So let's just drop the heels and lift the heels. Just practice that. I'm a little bit too close to the chair, so any kind of little adjustments you need to make. Dropping the heels and then lifting the heels. And feel your toes, feel the balls of your feet, and then drop back to the heels so your foot is flat. One more time. Great. And let's come back to stepping forward and shaking that out. I'm going to move. You don't need to. Make sure you have reset the body and caught up with your breath. And then we'll stretch it out here. Stretch it back into your L shape. Straighten the legs. Tuck your chin. Feel the grounding of your feet. And we're coming into warrior one on the other side. So left foot is forward. Right foot stays back. Bend into the knee. Both feet flat. Now drop the heel. Square your hips. Vertical with your spine. You're up and down. You're not leaning. Sometimes we lean toward the chair. Bring yourself up. Palms come together at the heart, the namaste position. Now find your breath. Smooth it out. And don't move until you feel smoothed out and ready with your breathing. Where we're going next is inhaling up. Exhaling, bowing at the heart. Inhaling up. And exhaling all the way behind us to interlace our hands and pull back. Again, a nice stretch for the pec and the chest area. Pull back, and how you move your hands up, down, back, that's all going to influence the sensation you're feeling in your body. Stabilize your breath now. Smooth it out. Let's exhale completely and bring our hands back to the chair. Let's get those Barbie feet on again. So I want you to lift your heels. and drop the heels. So play with this a little bit. I just have to play with it. I can't really guide you through it until I'm doing it. I'm just trying to lift the heels. I want a straight leg back. Takes a little movement practice before I can figure it out. Popping up is really good for your ankles, strengthening your feet, strengthening your ankles. Good. Both feet to the floor now. And maybe we step forward and we'll shake that out. Let's try a squat, last pose here. Opening up, using your chair, opening up, wider with your legs, toes are pointing away from center, and then just squatting down as far as you're able. You may not need the chair at all. You can just push your elbows into the inner thighs, into your inner parts of your knees there. See if you can lift up though. See if you can lengthen your spine here. Using the chair for support is no problem. It's not an apology you need to make. I'm just offering options so you can kind of explore how to set this up for yourself. I find movement in it. I like to kind of shift my body weight from one foot to the other so it feels kind of fluid. Now get your butt way back so you're not straining your knees to come up. And then let's make our way to our chair. So take a moment. If there's anything your body still needs, any kind of adjustment, any kind of reset before you sit down, be sure you give yourself that. When we sit into the chair, we're coming way back so we can have easy access to the backrest. I want us to have plenty of time to self-soothe today. So I usually probably do some more active work for a few more minutes. But I really want us to take this time to give ourselves this idea of self-soothing. So as you start making your adjustment, just bear with me as I just kind of talk us through. Self-soothing is not a new concept. I mean, we teach our children that as part of our if any of you are parents out there, that was part of our job as parents, is to help our child find a way to self-soothe. I mean, that's an act of kindness once we have been able to convey that to our children. So we still need it, we still need it, and we still do it, but we don't name it. That's all. I mean, I'm just kind of bringing it out to say, do you know the things you do? So that you can just really be honoring that and find the compassion in that you are showing yourself, and kind of lift it up as being, a worthwhile pursuit and a loving act that you show. I'm just thinking of things like, for me right now, when I hold a cup of tea, I make a cup of tea and I hold it. So the warmth of that cup, and I'm holding it and I feel that in my hands. I love doing that. That's like, I want a cup of tea as much to drink the warm fluid as I do to hold the cup, because it's calming for me. It's settling. It feels good in my hands. I like, to the weight of a blanket. If I'm sitting somewhere watching TV, let's say, and I just put the weight of a blanket on my legs, because that's soothing to me. It sits and gives me a sense of grounding and comfort. Those are some simple ideas, but you know what I'm saying now. And certainly this practice of meditation that we do at the end of every class is a self-soothing. We just haven't really thought, I never named it that way, and I just want us to think about it that way. So let's close the eyes and settle in and do the things. Maybe you've got a ritual at this time that you do, rely upon and use, which I really admire when people will do that for themselves, is do the ritual of transitioning into this meditation time. One more word I want to explore: equanimity. Equanimity, which is about quieting the mind, finding balance with the mind. And what occurred to me is those I'm calling them the four keys of equanimity, but you're going to remember them as soon as I say them. But for now, let's call them the four keys of equanimity: vibrant and healthy body, alert and focused mind, loving and compassionate heart, lightness of being. Yeah. So find your rhythm now. Find your breath. If you're looking for help, I'm going to recommend that you breathe and ascend that breath as though the breath starts at the seat of your chair and moves through the central channel up to the crown of the head, and that your exhale descends down that central channel back to the seat. So you're just feeling through the length of your spine, through the central channel, the movement of your breath, ascending as you inhale and descending as you exhale. Imagine that flow as you gently close your eyes and come deep within your inner awareness. Soften your mouth. Remember, there's always a place in our body that we seem to hold tension. For most of us, that's true. Go there. Be sure you've relaxed and brought some loving awareness to that area of your body to soften and release whatever you can. Full breath in, full breath out. I strongly encourage you to use those simple mantras to help your mind stay focused. Breathe in, say the word in. Breathe out, say the word out. Feel how your body moves as you breathe in and breathe out. Feel the support of your chair, the steadiness, the stability. Let's change our mantra. Inhale deep, exhale slow, and watch how your breath follows those directions. A deep inhale, a slow exhale. Breathe all the way in, breathe all the way out, deep and slow. Relax your face. Relax your tongue. Maybe you revisit that part of your body that holds the tension. One more invitation to soften and release what you can. Breathing deep and slow. And as we settle into these last few minutes, we'll change the mantra one more time. Feeling the body in ease and calm. I think I said that differently. I want to say calm and ease. So inhale the word calm. Exhale the word ease and feel it in your body now. The calm and the ease of self-soothing. And now for that promised poem. It's as though she's sharing a moment of insight. And a voice spoke in the twilight. For I will carry you across the wide river of life and see you safely to the other side. Be unafraid and joyous. On this shared journey, you will see miracles. You will know sadness. The heart of your heart will be glad. And at times you will suffer, but there won't be a single moment when you'll stray from the path. If you could only believe that right now, this moment is part of the journey, perhaps you'd see the futility of worry or despair. I will carry you no matter if you find the way easy and safe or rife with danger and impossibility. I will keep you in the presence of God and in the light of truth. This is my covenant with you. I speak soul to soul, and I say only what is true. With that, the night went back to stillness. Keep your eyes closed and gently now begin to introduce movement back into your body. Maybe you're getting your feet back to the floor instead of propped up. And you're coming away from the backrest, so you're finding your back body back into right alignment. Let's take a deep breath in through the nose and then exhale it out with the sound of a sigh. Do two more like that, really cleansing breaths. Make sure there's a sound of a sigh. Remember, that's how we access the vagal nerve. Really important for us to, it's another way of self-soothing, another tool. So really sigh it out. And then let's open the eyes, again, sitting up nice and tall so you feel right alignment in your body again. And we're going to do some shoulder rolls, just easy movements through the shoulder blades, up, back, and down. And I want you to see while your shoulder rolls, if you could tilt your head from side to side, maybe dropping your chin. This is an inside job. I can't really give you any more direction than that. As you gently roll your shoulders, move your head to find some stretching for your neck. So just kind of blend all that together, create your own movement, knowing that the shoulders in motion, the shoulders and the stiffness of the neck, very related. So we're going to work them together. And breathe deep now to offer this last bit of tender loving care in your body. Okay. Let's sync up our breath one last time. Inhale with me, palms come together up and overhead. Exhale, bow into your own heart. Inhale up and exhale. Let's share this beautiful, peaceful, loving energy with our communities. Hands come together at the namaste position. We bow to ourselves. We bow to one another. Namaste, my friends. And thank you for joining me.
Thanks, Julie.